We interact with other people, and unfortunately, this interaction is not always pleasant. Life is complex, conditioned by an incredible number of factors, and people's minds are full of afflictions and negative emotions. So, how should we react when we encounter someone who irritates us, or when someone does or says something unpleasant to us, is rude or behaves in a passive-aggressive manner? Let's look at what the Buddha said about this in the sutras. There are these 5 ways of removing annoyance: loving kindness, compassion, onlooking equanimity can be maintained in being toward a person with whom you are annoyed. The forgetting and ignoring of the person with whom you are annoyed can be practiced. You can focus your frustration on the fact that a person owns their actions. This person is the owner of their deeds, heir to their deeds, whether they are good or bad. Let's examine each of these methods in detail. People without special training typically have limited self-control, and their kindness and compassion are often underdeveloped. It can be very difficult to direct these qualities towards someone who is annoying. To develop this ability, you need to deliberately cultivate these traits and train your mind for a long time, which is quite challenging. Equanimity, however, can be accessible to you even at the initial level of training in controlling your own mind. It's the absence of exaggerating good or bad qualities. Put simply, it means not blowing things out of proportion, not thinking that this unpleasant person is utterly terrible. So, how can one observe and listen with equanimity? To quickly calm your reactive thoughts and the resulting emotions, you can apply these following techniques. Technique 1. Realize that the words of a person who irritates you or is trying to provoke your anger are nothing more than vibrations in the air that disappear instantly. You react only because you understand the words and assign meaning to them, but in reality, it's just the opening and closing of a mouth followed by vibration in the air. Technique 2. Apply recollection of mortality. Realize that this unpleasant person will live for a little longer and then turn to dust. Any words they say are so insignificant that it would be ridiculous to react to them. It's important to understand that we are not gloating or wishing harm on this person, but simply remembering that they will not be alive for long, and their harmful words mean nothing compared to that fact. Technique 3. You can expand your perception by realizing that the building, the city, everything will eventually crumble to ashes and be completely forgotten, just like ancient cities today, of which only stones remain. We ourselves are on a huge planet, rushing at incredible speed through the emptiness of space. This makes the unpleasant interaction so insignificant on the scale of time and the universe that it would be absurd to react. Having this wider perspective helps us distance ourselves from negativity and see the bigger picture. Method 4. Ignore and forget the person who irritates you. For some people, this method is easier. There are people who are truly capable of completely forgetting about a rude person they encountered within a few minutes. But there are those who will suffer for many days after some bore has said something unpleasant. Training your mind to forget what you don't need is just as important as training it to remember what you need. The ability to forget is valuable and important, and it works the same way as recollection, only in reverse. If, when training recollection, we monitor our mind and strive each time to bring to mind what we need to remember, then when forgetting, track if you have started thinking again about what you don't want to think about, and stop it by shifting your attention to something else. Without suppressing, without judging, notice the thought, acknowledge that it is there. Praise yourself for noticing it. Observe the thought from a slight distance without getting immersed in it. Gently shift your attention to something else. Method 5. We focus our mind by reflecting that this person can say whatever they want. They have this right, but you will continue living your life. We cannot know exactly why they behave this way. Perhaps they are having an incredibly bad day, week, month, or life, and they simply cannot contain their disappointment and negativity within. This doesn't excuse such behavior, but understanding it makes it easier for us to be more forgiving towards them. Being forgiving helps us because it reduces unnecessary distress. They bear full personal responsibility for their actions and words, not us, but them. If they are speaking rudely, it means they are suffering from their own afflictions. They will take this anger and pain home, where physical or mental suffering probably happens. None of this is ours. All this dirt, rudeness and anger belong to them. We don't have to take it. Thank you for the offer, but no, keep it. There is a sutra on this topic where we see how the Buddha reacted when he was insulted. If you think that surely the Buddha himself was never insulted, that is not the case. Everyone gets insulted. Everyone has experienced rudeness and crudeness. Some less, some more, but everyone knows what it is. Our difference from the Buddha is that we suffer because of it, and he did not. And since we strive for happiness, we also want to learn not to suffer from other people's rudeness and crudeness. Here is the sutra. Angry and displeased, he went to the Buddha and insulted him with harsh and rude words. When he had finished speaking, the Buddha said to him, "We who do not insult anyone, do not abuse anyone, refuse to accept from you the insult, the abuse you have poured out upon us. It's all yours. It all belongs to you." The ability to not suffer from other people's rudeness and insults is not an easy skill. But when we master it, a large part of our upset, distress, negativity and anxiety will simply disappear from our lives.